Earlier today, the Supreme Court ruled that presidents will now get a lot of immunity. I don't know how much, but it seems, from what I've seen, like quite a bit of immunity based on their actions as the president, and what is considered presidential or not, I guess, is up for debate. But anyway, and so that kind of, from what I've seen, has been raising some concerns, and rightfully so. I mean, I understand to a certain extent that a lot of what you do as a president, some of it could be, I guess you would need that immunity. But there's other cases where you could kind of abuse it, and that's not really a counter argument for it, because it's true with anything. I mean, even with you getting into office as the president now, I mean, you could still abuse the power you have. So I mean, to say yes or no to the immunities is kind of like an added on feature, I guess you could say, with the whole presidential system as it is. But it also has brought into question what exactly that means with immunity. And there's also those that are kind of upset with that ruling, because it also means that Trump's case, which is kind of up in the air still to this point. I mean, sure, they found him guilty, but as to what exactly that entailed, I mean, sure, they gave like the counts and all of that, but from what I've seen, I mean, I've tried to look into the different like counts, or the 34 or whatever that was that he was convicted on, as to where they found that to have that as like a basis to be charged on. I still have no idea. So if somebody has like more information on that, I'd be happy to look it over, because I still have not found anything remotely convicting, I guess, on that front. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of go over this article because President Biden kind of spoke out against it too. And now, of course, after that debate that took place the other day, I mean, it's pretty obvious he's not going to be in there much longer. But I still kind of partially agree with what he said, just from the standpoint that it can kind of give a president a lot of power that they shouldn't necessarily have. I mean, they already have a lot of power, but even more so, because with the immunities, again, you could just kind of hide behind it to do some not so great stuff. This article on BBC says Biden says ruling on Trump undermines rule of law. It says Joe Biden has described as a dangerous precedent a Supreme Court ruling giving former President Donald Trump partial immunity from criminal prosecution. The current U.S. president said the judgment undermined the rule of law and was a terrible disservice to Americans. Earlier, Trump hailed the court's decision as a big win for democracy. The justices found on Monday that the president had immunity for official acts, but was not immune for unofficial acts, and referred the matter back to the trial judge. The judgment will further delay the criminal case against Trump for all allegedly trying to subvert the 2020 election result that gave victory to Mr. Biden. The trial must now determine which actions were carried out in Trump's capacity as president, which could take months. Any trial is unlikely to start before November's presidential election. And so, from what I gathered from that, I mean, let's be real, it's clear that Biden is just not all there anymore. I mean, there's so many videos going around of comparing him in 2012 to what he is now. And I'm sure that's been 12 years, but I mean, it's just like night and day difference. I mean, he can barely spit out a sentence now without he can't even spit out a sentence now with a teleprompter, so let alone him trying to actually communicate anything vaguely resembling any sort of thought pattern. Just is not happening. But I still want to believe that he, from his standpoint, obviously some of that is like the whole thing with Trump being pardoned, if you will, on that front. But I do also believe that he's kind of approaching it from the standpoint that it kind of will set the excuse, if you will, for future presidents, that it's not exactly great, just because, like I said, the immunity, it really depends on what the immunity entails and whatnot. Because if it allows them to get away with just heinous acts and things like that, and just say, oh, I have immunity, like the means with the diplomatic immunity, like they are free to do whatever, that can be a little problematic. I mean, you're already POTUS, President of the United States. you're already pretty much the most powerful person in the world, all things considered. I don't know that you need now more power. But like I said, there's also the standpoint that if there's going to be so many like little trials like this that take place that they're trying to nail you on, I could see from that standpoint that the immunity would also be nice, because then the trials would kind of just fall flat on their face. And so it's kind of like hard to choose a side on this, because I still am not exactly sure what exactly the immunities entail. So I'm waiting to see that, but as of right now, I'm still kind of like up in the air, kind of trying to decide which side I would like to land on with that, just because like I said, that's a dangerous road to walk. It's already a very, very powerful position. Not sure you need to be incentivizing more emotional, because at the end of the day, I do feel like when you have like these immunities and things like that, you can tend to lead people down more emotional pathways, if you will, as opposed to like logical, just because they know that if they have like an emotional outlash against something and they don't like something, they can get away with it because immunity. And so I don't really like that thought pattern. I don't like that approach. I mean, obviously, there will be those who try to logistically use it as well. But I think those who are more emotionally prone, I mean, they shouldn't be in the White House to begin with, but you just never know. So I don't know. Like I said, there's just so many different ways that this could go. I don't. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see what exactly this all entails. But let me know what you guys think about the immunity thing down in the comments. If you think it's good, bad, ugly, anywhere in between. I'm curious to see what other people think about it. Just because, like I said, I really don't know at this point. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, if you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and I hope to see you guys around.